Everyone, it's Linda Hayes. Today I want to talk about Secret Beach. Many people are buying property there, and it is a place I love to go. You can see me on a boat on the right at Blue Bayou, and then on the left there's a picture of Sunset Palace, which is one of my favorite chill places. I just drove out there on a golf cart a couple of weeks ago with some people that wanted to hang out there, and I want to show some of the areas that are there, as well as give you some tips if you're considering buying property. So first thing I want to do is give an overview of the Secret Beach area because it's huge, over many, many, many acres. So the beach itself you can see left on the map here. At the very bottom left you can see Sunset Palace, which is the place I really love. And there's lots of beach bars along there. And there's different neighborhood names, which is why I've used this snippet from one of Will Mitchell's great videos on Secret Beach. So you can see all the different neighborhood names because a lot of people are looking for lots and they don't really know where they're located. And so Palmyra Woods is on the top section of the map first as the area that's listed. And if you look on the far right, you'll see the Grand Mayan area. And then in the middle of the map, you'll see Grand Belizean. And then below that, there's Habitat Belize. And then to the left of Habitat Belize, you'll see West Key area. So that gives you an idea of the different neighborhoods. So if you see a lot listing, I'm going to show some in Grand Mayan, which are the most affordable lots, of course, because they're farthest away from the beach. So I have a listing I'll show you there for $35,000. And then I will show you some closer to the beach. So for example, I have a second row lot I'm going to show you here for $175, and then a couple other lots around the $75,000 range that are maybe seventh row in. And I'm going to also talk about the different purposes for buying land out here and some tips if you're thinking of purchasing. So let's first go over some tips when you're buying land. So first, lot size. So the typical size is 50 by 75. That's what my lot in Mahogany Bay Village is. Now, if you have bigger lots, obviously you'd expect to pay more for those lots, and often the price is prorated based on the size. And if the location is better, obviously it'll also be more expensive. Now, some developers and sellers will offer financing on your lot, and oftentimes you just have to offer to check on that. So some developers tell you right away they offer financing, but if you even have a specific seller that has a couple of lots, you may also be able to get it. So as an example, I have a friend who just bought 2 lots south of Mahogany Bay Village, actually, on the beach, where the seller did not want to offer financing and in fact did not accept the offer initially, but later on went ahead and accepted it. Now note, if you do finance, you actually don't get title until you pay off the land. So there's a couple of tips there. First of all, make sure you get the title to see who has it, because hopefully it is the person that is selling it to you and financing it. If not, obviously there's an issue. The other thing is that you have to know that you would not get a vote in the HOA unless you paid off the land fully. And it might be something you can write into a contract to ask if you can get the vote, even though you don't actually have title until you pay it off. Now, another thing to note is that if you see a listing on a website that doesn't have a specific lot number, it might be just a general listing to get you to connect with an agent. And oftentimes, listings can be out of date. So it may be that they didn't have time yet to update a price or availability, but sometimes it's also a bait and switch type of scenario where they put a listing, they pulled it from some other website from a couple of years ago to try to get you in the door. And since there is no licensing of realtors in Belize and there's no MLS, it's really hard to know that. So what I really want to do in this video is show you many of the current listings in Secret Beach as examples on different availabilities and pricing, and kind of show the fact that it might be best for you to try to work with a buyer's agent if you're buying property. So whenever you're making a real estate purchase, you have to think about what the purpose is. So some people buy land for banking purposes. So land banking is where you buy a property and hope that the price is going to increase so you can sell it in the future. And I know people who bought land in this area for under $10,000 around the 2008 time period, and now the cheapest lot I'm going to show is around the $35,000 price point. And even 2 years ago, I saw land for about $30,000 that's now $40,000 or higher. And once utilities go in, property values are expected to increase. Now, if someone's telling you the time when that's going to happen, don't take that as a guarantee because there's many things that change, and people have been talking about utilities in this area for many, many years. Just like the hospital in San Pedro, it's been needed forever. Now funding has been announced, so that probably is a good indicator that it may happen, but until shovels hit the ground, there's really no guarantee. So when you're doing land banking, it is really best if you have a long time horizon and that you have the knowledge of the fact that you may not be making any money on the property anytime in the near future. So another reason you might want to buy property in Belize is to start a business, which is what many people come to Belize to do. So there's an example I show later on of a lot that's second row on Secret Beach, right by all the established businesses. So if someone was thinking of setting up something, that might be a place they might want to do it. And I want to contrast that with a location that I drove by a couple of weeks ago where there's been some kiosks set up many months ago where I've never seen any tenant in any of the kiosks which were available for rent. So there's been no business operating in there, and all that's happening is these kiosks have been sitting empty. So when you're starting a business, it's really critical to do a business plan, know what type of businesses are good for that location. And if you want to start a business, definitely reach out to me because I have a business broker I recommend people to because he's helped many of the people I know that have businesses on the island either purchase an existing business or he often even has licenses for businesses that can be started up, and he helps people assess what the ROI of that business might be. So, of course, the last reason people might buy property at the Secret Beach area is because they want to live in Belize and want an affordable price point on the property. So the only thing to consider is that because it's off grid, which can save you money on your electricity, you also do need to consider the cost of setup. I know some people who bought property in Secret Beach that have now decided to sell it because their budget for solar was way more than what they thought it was going to be and just not sustainable for them. The other thing to consider is regulation. So if you were buying in a master plan community, you might have specific rules on what's to be placed on what lot, what type of architectural features you need, whereas in Secret Beach, that's generally not the case. So if you really want flexibility, that can be an option here. And the same thing goes for HOA fees. So in the Secret Beach area, most lots don't have an HOA that you have to pay into, whereas Mahogany Bay, for example, does. So it just depends really what you're looking for. And if you do want affordable property, Secret Beach is a way you can do that. And I'm going to show some examples of that. But there are also other places you can live affordably in Belize. And if you want information on that, please just make sure you reach out to me. So now I want to go through some of the places where I find lots when someone's asking me what's available. And this is something a buyer's agent does for you. So it is a lot of work because there is no MLS system. And this is only a few of the examples, and I'm just bringing up a couple to start with to show you where the affordable lots are. So Sunrise Realty is one that's really good in updating their website. So this one is a Grand Mayan Estates lot for $35,000 US. It tells you the specific lot number, and then you can see that as you go down, there's a Grand Mayan, another one here, and then there's a Grand Belizean Estates one that's at $40,000. So those are some of the more affordable ones that are available. And if you actually keep scrolling down, eventually when you get to page 2, you'll see some listings that say they're under contract, and they are pretty good at updating it. And the other one that I go to, or that I went to this time to find some of the affordable land is Remax Island Real Estate here. And the same thing goes here. You can see Grand Belizean Estates says that there's a couple for 35. Here's Palmea Woods at 40. And some more Grand Belizean Estates. Now, another agent I always look at is Kate's listings with Keller Williams because she's really great to work with, and I've given her lots of referrals. And here's a few Secret Beach lots she has listed now. So the two on the left are Grand Belizean Estates for $38,000, and the great thing about these two are that they are side by each on a corner. So if you develop them together as a large project, you'd have road access on 3 sides, which is fantastic. And then the other one I really wanted to show is this parcel 8342. This one is at $75,000, and it is really close to the Secret Beach sign. So if you count the rows that it is in, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 row lot. So a 6-row lot for 75,000 might be something that meets people's needs if you're wanting to eventually walk to Secret Beach once you develop. So now I want to get into some second row lots because a lot of people want to know about some other options other than the properties that are quite far from the beach. And there is one that's really close to the Secret Beach sign, and that one's what I'm going to show. And then another one that's a second row that's about zero point 0.5 of a mile to the main area. So here is the lot that I said that's about zero point 0.5 miles away. So you can see Jason Turley has this particular listing, and he's got some great pictures of where the parcel is and the parcel number, and then the detailed map showing you that it is 2 lots away from the main beach, except again, as I mentioned, the beach bars that are existing are about a 0.5 mile away. So if you want a nice lot with 2 side roads or 2 roads on the side here, it's a 65 by 140 lot, and this one is listed at 175,000. So that is one that is a little bit different than the more affordable lots. So here is the other second row lot that is really close to all the action at Secret Beach on the corner lot as well. This one's listed by John Turley, and it's listed for $300,000. So it's great that this listing includes the dimensions and all the lots around this particular one. So it is 66 by 111, so 7,290 square feet. So you can see, depending what you want, whether this would work for you. And obviously, this one's great if you want to be close to the action. Now, I wanted to mention that these are just a sampling of the many lots available for sale. And if you are interested in any of them, I would recommend these or other lots to come in person to see them. A lot of people buy sight unseen, and when they come, they may be surprised by what they get. So why do I say that you need to come visit the property in person? Well, it is because you need to know the condition of the lot as well as how to get to it. So this video and these pictures were actually just taken 2 weeks ago when we went to Secret Beach. So the main road, this section of it, was quite flooded, and it was okay to drive through actually. But if your lot happened to be down the lagoon a little bit farther into the bush there where there's a lot of water and there's no road, it might take you a ton of fill to actually fill it if you're wanting to build right away. So again, depending on the purpose you have for the land, you want to really see what the condition of it is when you're buying it. Is it high and dry during rainy season? Because if not, you know there's going to be a lot more expense related to the property. So make sure that if people are telling you that it's okay to buy without coming, maybe you should consider what their motivation is. So as you've probably noticed from this video, there's many different offices and different agents that have listings. And even with the brands like Remax and Keller Williams, one office has some listings and other offices have others, and not necessarily do they share. So some agents are very good at showing other people's listings and others are not. And because there's no MLS to see the options, I recommend working always with a buyer's agent that's going to work for you, not the seller. And the way you can find this out really easily is to just check with your agent to see who the listing agent is on the properties they're showing you. And if it's only their own listings and they tell you nothing else is available, I can tell you for a fact that that's probably not the case. And doing some of the searches I just showed you might kind of verify that for you as well. And I'm not saying either to go meet with a ton of different agents. There are people that do that, and that really actually just wastes people's time and doesn't best serve you because you might be looking at the same property more than once. So if you can find someone that's really going to represent you instead of the seller, that's going to be your best bet. And also, you might then find other areas you're not even aware of. So if you go look at a whole bunch of different agents' websites and you think you know what's available completely, I can tell you it's probably not the case. Because when I first came to Ambergris Caye and I had done all the research I thought I could, I was researching Belize for over a year before I bought property and came to the country. And when I got there, within about 6 weeks of being there and driving around, I found that there was tons of other agents that really don't even advertise that have a ton of property available. And that's where it brought a lot of people to because they had affordable options that had power, which people just weren't aware of. So if you do have questions and are looking for property or referrals, make sure you reach out to me. So here is the contact information to get a hold of me, and I hope to see you soon in Belize.